Look at me, sitting in a place I definitely cannot afford. It's all for you guys, this sacrifice. Dobrou chuť. Have you noticed it, guys? We finally got some snow, but it is absolutely freezing. I cannot feel my toes, and that means only one thing. It is time to go and get some warm Czech food in my belly. Here's the twist though. Today we're gonna be visiting two restaurants. One budget one that we are very much used to, and the second one expensive one outside of our budget that we've never been to before. Very excited for that. We are gonna be comparing Czech traditional food in these two very different price ranges, so you can judge for yourself what suits you best. We are gonna be starting with the budget canteen, very popular touristy place just a couple minutes from the old town square. Let's go. Here we are, guys, Havelska Koruna. Very easy to find. It's located next to Havel's Church and Havel's Market. We have talked about this place before on our channel, but let me walk you through it so you understand what to do when you arrive here. Even though it is a very touristy place, you kind of need to know the drill here to be able to go through it without any mishaps. It is a canteen where you have to pick up a ticket as you arrive at the entrance. They just simply give it to you. With that paper, you proceed down through the line, and at some point you will have to order your food. So you actually need to know what you are ordering in advance. If you don't know, you can just stand outside over there. They have the menu with all of the pictures of what they sell, and you can choose there and then go inside. Because as soon as you are inside, they're just going to be asking you stuff in Czech. I just tell them what I want, they write it on a piece of paper, I get my food, and I sit down to enjoy it. We already got our meat. Take a look. Delicious. Huge portions for this time. So now I'm gonna dig in, if you don't mind, because I am hungry. This is pretty much my most favorite Czech food. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. So good. It's so simple, but they do it so well. If you haven't had svíčkové ever, you might not know that the sauce is a little bit sweeter because it has like carrots and that kind of stuff. But I love it. And some people freak out, but in more expensive restaurants, they also put whipped cream. So you get a little bit of lemon, cranberry jam, and whipped cream. And once I had a lady on private tour, and she didn't want to eat it because she was like, that's dessert. I'm not gonna have dessert with meat, but she was missing out. The only thing is that the amount of meat, how should I say it? It's not a lot of it. As you can see, I had like 2 bites, and I'm already halfway done with it. But what makes up for it is 4 dumplings and incredible amount of sauce. So don't worry, even though it doesn't have like a lot of meat, you're still gonna be full. When you're done with your food, don't forget to drop off a tray with a plate, pick up the paper, and head to the exit. This is where you will be paying. So you will hand the lady your paper and then pay over there. We did it, guys. First place done. I think svíčkové was amazing. It was so delicious. That just proves that you don't need to spend much to taste really good food in Prague. So if you just want the food and you don't care about the ambience or some live music or some very special place, this is a great spot to talk about how much it was. Actually, svíčkové itself, meaning the meat and the sauce, is 159 crowns, but with the bread dumplings, it's 201 crown. This is how much we paid. I think you will really like it. All right, let's go to our next spot, which is Mlínec. As you can see by my background, we are right next to Charles Bridge. Careful, it's slippery. You can hear the water now, it's pretty loud. As you can see, it's a big party. Lots of birds, even some swans today. And of course, the amazing view of Charles Bridge and Prague Castle behind us. This restaurant is no tourist trap. In fact, it is Michelin-recommended, has amazing reviews and apparently delicious food. So let's go check it out. As per usual, we have to talk you through our experience outside because of the music, the ambience, and also the fact that we don't want to disturb other customers. So first thing I should mention is the location, of course, because we are right next to Charles Bridge. The restaurant is famous for having the beautiful views of the Charles Bridge. And what was different to the first place that we visited today from the get-go was the service, because the service was great. It was attentive, friendly, but not too invasive. They didn't ask us too many questions. They just helped us and also explained what dishes we were getting. So service here is definitely 10 out of 10. I would say 100 out of 10. We had a quick look at the menu. They have their specialties, which is a 5-course menu for around 2,500 crowns without the wine pairing. We didn't get this one, but they also had steaks and vegetarian options. We ended up settling for one lunch menu. That's what Václav was getting, and I was just digging through his plate because, you know, you have to taste the food before the king eats it. Otherwise, he'll get poisoned, right? And then I got something special, which is deer saddle. Essentially, it's svichkova. This was a fancier version of svichkova because it had deer meat and slightly different side dishes and sauces. We're gonna get to that. And of course, it was more expensive. It was close to 900 crowns, which is, I think, one of the most expensive svichkovas you can get in Prague. But first, they brought us starters, of course, which were multiple. We had some cheese crackers. We had some bread with butter and little soups. Delicious. And then we moved on to the main course. So Václav got a ravioli with fish and I got the fancy svichkova that I was talking about. It was amazing. The meat was tender. The sauce was very similar to svichkova. It was a little bit fancier and you could really taste that. And at first I was like, where is the dumpling? Because normally it comes with the dumpling, right? And the dumplings were right under that meat and also puree that they brought there. It was more of a darker bread dumpling. Usually it's white bread. So the food was delicious. We were feeling very full, but we were not done because we still had dessert. And then something very unexpected happened. We got a pre-dessert. Have you guys heard of that? I haven't. They brought us these small bowls with warm plum jam and ginger. It was amazing. And then the dessert itself, which was kind of like a yogurt whipped cream with some chocolate souffle and jam. Oh, that was great. But they also have some other dessert options on the menu. And even that was not it, because when they brought us the coffee, we also got little chocolates with Baileys. Oh, a dream come true. What can I say? And then it was time to pay. And you know what? The whole bill wasn't even 80 euro. That's right. Not even 100 euro, not even 80 euro. Right below that. Unbelievable. But that's only because we got the lunch menu. If you come here during weekend or in the evening, they don't have that available. So your bill would be over 100 euros or just below 100 euros for sure. Alright, so the food here was, of course, 100 out of 10. What else can it be, right? When you have such elaborate and delicious dishes. And we definitely recommend you visit Mlinec. This is, by the way, not sponsored. So now we've been to the budget restaurant and to the luxurious restaurant. So let's compare them. Obviously, the first thing that stood out to us is the length of the experience, because we spent just about 20 minutes in Havolská Koruna versus like 2 hours in Mlinec. And this is something you have to count with, because when you're going to a luxury place, they're not rushing anywhere. In the canteen, you have to just finish your meal and leave, because there are a lot of people coming in. And obviously we have to talk about the prices, because even though the total bill in the canteen was just 8 euro and in the luxurious restaurant 80 euro, it is not totally fair to just split it up this way. In the canteen, we only had one meal. We didn't get any soft drinks, we didn't get any chlebičky or soup. It was just svichkova and the side dish, which is bread dumplings. And that's why it was so cheap. Because if you would get food for two, so 2 soft drinks, 2 soups, 2 main courses and maybe some dessert, the total bill would be around 30 euro in the canteen. And then, of course, so let's talk about the luxurious restaurant. There we got more stuff. We got 2 main courses, 1 appetizer, 1 dessert, 2 coffees and some water, of course. That was already kind of blowing up our bill quite a lot, but it could have been even more, because if not that business lunch deal, I think our bill would have been like 100 euros at least. So if you're comparing 8 euro and 80 euro, of course it's such a huge difference, but if you're comparing 30 euro and 80 euro, not anymore, right? If you are willing to pay extra for the whole experience, because you're gonna be taken care of in Mlinec, right? They greeted us, us, they took our coats, they were telling us about the meals, all of that, extended the experience, extended the time we were there. I think it was worth the price. In fact, I think it was a bargain for what we got. If you want to help us out and make sure that we visit this beautiful restaurant more often, you can give us a super thanks. Maybe you're a millionaire or a billionaire. They might call you from your bank and ask, "Sir, why are you sending $100,000 as a super thanks on YouTube?" And you'll say, "Shut up and take my money." Okay, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in our next video. Bye!